One creative mind who's also using technology to capture changing social patterns is Angad Singh, co-founder of Lemonade.io, a Silicon Valley startup that is building groundbreaking technology to measure and improve creativity. He believes that creativity is the most important skill for the 21st century workplace, where technology is rapidly eating jobs. Lemonade is supported by some of the world's most prominent venture capitalists, angels, and academics.
The company's called Lemonade.io. We are a startup in Silicon Valley. We are trying to solve the problem of measuring and improving creativity. We think in the future all jobs will be creative because all the non-creative jobs will be done by computers. And so people will need to know how to become more creative and how to see how creative they are.
So how does this work? How do you measure creativity?
I mean, we don't yet. We hope to measure creativity. It's a hard problem. It's a very hard problem. It's something that people have studied for 50 years and still nobody's gotten close to, I would say, solving it. Self-driving cars, people are saying in 3 years, you could buy a self-driving car. And from then to, I think, the time that you will not be allowed to drive a car will be 10 years. That's sort of what history has shown us over and over, is people think, oh, these technologies take so much time, regulators are not going to listen, nobody's going to let them, and then things will move so quickly. We think of the world as a very, very sort of dynamic place. Nobody knows what will happen in 5 years. So it's hard to, and I think that has direct effects in education. Like, school's job is to prepare kids for the future, but if you don't know the future, what do you teach them? And so I think the thing you can teach them is how to be creative, how to think on your feet, how to adapt to problems, how to solve problems in all kinds of different ways, and how to use the tools that are available to you. Like, the information of the world is on your fingertips, so what can you do with that, I think?
Firstly, how long ago did you start this? And as a business, how does it work?
Yeah. So I started, thinking about it a few years ago, but officially last year. The business model of a lot of startups initially is to raise money, but in the long term, we think of it as a very, very fundamental sort of innovation in enterprise software. So if you think of a company, they are trying to hire creative people, solve creative problems. I think of education as a provider of raw material to the enterprise. So if you think of education, right now people are investing in themselves, but actually companies can invest in the education of their employees as an investment in their business, not as a social good thing. But if your employees are capable of doing more, then the company does better. So if you look at some of the most valuable companies in the world, many of them are not that old, like founded in the last 10 or 20 years, because innovation can actually give you that scale of impact. I mean, Apple is probably the best example, but Google, Facebook, these companies are less than 10 or 15 years old, and they've been able to make a global impact because of innovation. So.
Okay, you've already got funding for this venture as well, so obviously someone's seeing scope in it. Tell us about the investors you have on board and how you're sort of capitalizing on that.
Luckily, we've put together a team of really good investors. So NEA, which is the biggest VC firm in the world, is our lead investor, and then Jerry Yang, who founded Yahoo, and founders of all kinds of other companies you've probably heard of. LinkedIn Post, Akshay, who's from Delhi actually, and WebMD, which is the world's largest medical database, and all kinds of just amazing founders who've created companies of their own. People who've done optical fibers. There's some of my professors, all manners of people. The CEO of the largest solar company in the world, all kinds of people. It's just been really, really exciting to have them. And again, what these people bring is way beyond just the money. Like, you can really be competitive in an environment where talent is so hard to find. And I think talent is what wins companies, especially in the Valley. It's so competitive to get really, really good people.
So talking about the Valley, if you could share with us any other experiences in terms of the startup world there, in terms of actually the culture, the innovative culture, your experiences, your takeaways so far as an entrepreneur that's based out of there.
Yeah, I think the Valley is a very, very optimistic and ambitious place. I would say most people in the Valley are aware that they're overselling what they're doing, and I think that's part of it. It's part of believing that a small place in the world with 30 or 40 square miles can actually affect the future of the entire world. So we have our own sort of shortcomings. We have hype cycles, and we have people being too irrational and too optimistic and too pessimistic, and things that we will still not see coming. We will still not be able to see the future. But I think it's more perfect than every place else. At least this is the time and place in the world, I would say, to be.
Ink Talks 2015 also focuses on disruptors that have a positive social impact.